Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. As we roll along here on a Thursday, we are one step closer to the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we're getting out of this winter. Yeah, I don't like to be the guy that talks about the weather, but winter's depressing to me after like New Year's. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that I like it to be cold for like Christmas and New Year's. After that, I want us to go back to our 75 and sunny type days. So anyway, it's supposed to be nice and beautiful this weekend. So get outside and enjoy it. I may take the kids for a hike this weekend. Yeah, get them out in the sun. Make them put down those screens. All right, so got some stuff to go over with you here today. Here's what we got. Rule changes in college football. We'll get to that in a moment. People are starting to buy into Spencer Rattler. Imagine that. NCAA. Oh, this is the actual rule change story, Rob. I guess I printed it twice. Also, the Tennessee governor signed a bill allowing NIL collectives to interact with university coaches. What does that mean? So, yeah, we'll get into that. We have our dope segment today. There are two dopes that are out there. One of them is a all-world linebacker defensive end. The other is a guy that did something that's really, really dumb. Also, we got transfer portal stuff. More of that. All of that today here on the rundown. Of course, your calls. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number if you'd like to join us here on the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You know, why don't we start with the rule changes? The NCAA came out with a couple of rule changes, including the Kenny Picket rule, which I don't know how good of a quarterback Kenny Picket is going to be on the next level. We've had people call up and talk about how he has tiny hands and that's going to make a difference. And I don't know. Kenny Picket tore everybody up in college. But when you step back, though, people remember the play from the ACC championship game where he looked like he was going to take a slide, and then he didn't. So there's that. The Kenny Picket rule will be there. Basically, with that, you will, if a ball carrier simulates a feet-first slide, officials will declare that runner down on the spot, the NCAA announced. So, yeah, that play, one play ends up taking care of all of it. Here's the other thing that we have with the teams will now have a chance to appeal targeting penalties. You know, I have a different way that I look at targeting. And I first of all, I don't like the game to be stopped. I think that's silly. But I understand that there are going to be some headhunters out there. But I also think the game can be decided with one play. And these guys are playing full speed. And you've got athletes out there that can get up and down the field quickly. Quickly. So with that, I think a lot of times the targeting rule is just silly. It's also being set up now where guys are hitting guys low in the lower body and they're tearing up things as far as their knees go. So I don't like the targeting rule very much. I think that refs should be able to look at something and determine, if they can make a determination that a player was trying to take somebody out, I think they should be able to eject guys for that. But there are going to be people that'll tell me, yeah, but you still need the targeting rule. I don't know. It slows down the game too. Here's the other thing, though. You can be, if you get kicked out of the second half of a game, you can appeal it. So, but I doubt the NCAA. How long will it take them to look over this appeal, by the way? Will they be able to knock it out with the speed that they have with the Tennessee investigation where they were stuffing chicken nugget boxes with money? I'm serious. Because, if you have the national championship game a week after the semifinal, your guy gets called for something. Yeah, are we going to get the overrulement in a record amount of time? I don't know. I think it's insane to really put anything in the hands of the NCAA, because I think if we had 5 people sat down together, they couldn't get a lunch order correct. I really believe that. Shout out to the folks watching in the chat room today, as some of them like to mock me, which is fine, including Alan, Tennille, Kirby's Visor, Gwen, Elijah. Appreciate all you guys over there. Jay's up there talking too. You can join that. Just go to the Fox Sports Radio Facebook page. Elijah says the NCAA is slower than the Marine Corps kicking me out. And hello to Billy too. So yeah, it's I don't like the idea of the NCAA being given any more authority than they already have. They don't really take advantage of the authority that they have anyway. So Daddy O says NCAA or IRS, which one goes away first? Oh, well, I mean, it's simple. It's the NCAA. You think the federal government is going to let their way that they could take money from you go away? Are you out of your mind? Come on, Daddy O. That ain't working. Anyway, Brandon says, Rob, who was the last team to beat Clemson in back-to-back years? Are we talking football here? Back-to-back seasons. Like 2 years in a row? I don't know. Clemson hasn't lost a lot of games. So I would have to look at that. It had to be, I would venture to say it was Florida State back in the Jameis Winston era. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I have to look that up. I may be able to find that during the break there, buddy. I will check on that for you. Anyway, I'm all about the Kenny Picket rule. I'm all about working with some of the targeting stuff, but I don't want to give the NCAA any more authority than they already have. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about this NIL stuff with the Tennessee governor. On Wednesday, Governor Bill Lee signed a law which clearly delineates which actions companies, coaches, and school officials can now take when handling NIL property opportunities. This will give collectives the chance to start communicating directly with coaches in regards to NIL. What does that mean to you? Well, if you're a Tennessee fan and you have an assistant coach there at Tennessee and he's going out to recruit, I don't know, let's say Arch Manning. Arch Manning comes out and you want to up your NIL stuff. As a coach, you can talk to the collective that is out there to help Tennessee football and tell them, hey, this is what I need. So, yeah, that's basically what that means. Coaches can talk with the folks that are putting together essentially endorsements for these football players, basketball players, whatever. So there's that. Elijah also bringing up the thing on fake injuries. We'll get into that in a moment too. But the NIL is, it's going to get to a point where the bigger schools are going to have the best models, and it's going to be, I think that it's going to be harder for certain teams to be really good over an extended period of time unless they evolve. What I mean by that, Clemson's last national championship team, what did that national championship team have? They had a defensive line that were all guys that came back. Cleveland Farrell, Christian Wilkins, those guys. All of them came back. I don't think you're going to have that anymore. The idea of building a team and guys staying for an extended period of time just isn't going to happen. So now with this and with the transfer portal the way that it is, I think it's going to be harder for teams like that team that won the national title to come about. And a little bit of that has to do with Dabo Swinney is stubborn and really doesn't want to use the transfer portal. Until he changes his ways, if he's going to be a good coach, he's going to have to do what Nick Saban's doing and adapt or continue to be a good coach. You can be the best X's and O coaches on the planet. Like the Wake Forest coach is a great X's and O's coach, Dave Clawson. I think that Dave Clawson is a guy that you can sit down and work up X's and O's with him. And if he were the guy that we had to have to go against another country in an Olympic style event where we're doing X's and O's, Dave Clawson would be my guy. But what can Dave Clawson not get at Wake Forest? Yeah, Wake Forest is a good program. But the reality is are they going to get guys like we use Arch Manning here, top quarterbacks, etc., to come to Wake Forest? No. But other coaches that may not have that but can really work with players and help get them developed, they're going to have issues with this because guys are going to come in, they're just going to leave. Dakota asked if I know the name of the third-party group that handles Clemson NIL. I think it's called RAIN, I think is what they call it. Jay says, Rob, nobody wants a video on Instagram having to sit on the lap of Dabo. Why is this being discussed every day? I don't know what you're talking about. Haven't seen it yet. Follow me on Twitter. Send me that Instagram video. I'll talk about it. I don't care. Papa B says, today's updated odds on Arch Manning. Texas, 38%. Alabama, 27%. Georgia, 32%. Ole Miss, less than 1. I got nothing. I don't know. I don't know where Arch Manning is going to go. But I do think that what they're doing at Tennessee, and they're already doing it in some other spots too, if you want your program to be successful, this is what's going to have to happen. Spire Sports has been the forefront of all things NIL for Tennessee athletes. The group has been able to secure deals for current athletes in so many different sports besides just football or basketball. Their goal was to have a $25 million war chest to use annually for deals involving Tennessee student athletes. They're still working towards that goal. They've most certainly been at the top of the list of collectives around the country. So $25 million is what the organizations that's up front for Tennessee is trying to put together. JetMex says, I'm sponsoring athletes via NIL. I'm able to provide them $1 a year final offer. Look, I believe in the free market, which sounds like I'm doing a CNBC show or whatever, but I believe in the free market, but I think that players, some guys, it's going to come down to money. Okay, I have South Carolina, Clemson, and North Carolina all here. All of them are 1A, 1B, and 1C. South Carolina is going to give me $750,000 in NIL money. The coaches there will go to the collective that ends up being here at South Carolina, and that's what they're going to give me. Okay, what's Clemson going to give me? What's North Carolina going to give me? Who gets to make those decisions? Does Dabo Swinney get to sit there and meet with the collective and say, you know what? I want X amount of dollars for this guy. Does Dabo Swinney or Shane Beamer, do they go out and do speaking engagements or do fundraising things to get more players? How's that going to happen? 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Kirby's Visor says teams have been paying the elite players, though Saban made everyone is now allowed to cheat. That's technically not cheating anymore. It's really not. And, you know, there are going to be some folks that want to have a winning team wherever it is they are. If you're a big time alumni and you have, I don't know, let's use a car dealership. You got 4 car dealerships, and you spend 25 grand a year anyway. Whatever it is, you could put out some more money if you know that this guy is going to be the next guy that's going to help your program. People are going to do that. People will give away money. They will. If they think that, especially on the football front, if they can get one over on their friends at the water cooler, they'll drop some money on that. Daniel says as a Tennessee fan, he loves NIL. Kirby's Visor says Saban lets recruits wash his cars at his car lot. Okay. Papa V says, I worry about a high school senior, 1-star that works his way into a college, a 5th-year senior is 5 stars. Yeah. Talent eventually comes and works its way to the top. I think there's going to be some guys that are going to be overpaid, though. And let's just be honest with this, too. Football players will get paid. Basketball players will continue to get paid. I think baseball players will get money. But your non-traditional sports and your women's sports, I mean, how's that going to work out? Seriously. Is it just going to be an economy thing of, hey, football players bring more money? That's why quarterback gets $700,000 and the starting pitcher for the softball team gets 20 grand. These are things that are going to be out there. And there's going to be talk about, trust me, with the whole thing that just happened with the Women's World Cup and soccer and all that with the U.S. women's team, there's going to be a lot of talk about why don't I get the same amount of money that the men's team does? Daddy O with a good point. How about they fix the baseball, softball scholarship issues first? Yeah. Yeah. When they have like 11 scholarships for a baseball team, whatever it is, let's fill all those scholarships out. That might be a good idea. All right. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. That one kid, Oscar, whatever his name is, from Kentucky. I don't follow Kentucky hoops, but he, I think NIL is what brought him back. He wasn't guaranteed to be a first-round pick. My bad. I turned it off. My fault. But I think that's what brought him back is the fact that he could get some NIL money. I hope that because of dum-dums like Peg and Megan here, I hope that Uiagalelei has a great season and then sticks it in your face. Wouldn't that just hurt your feelings so bad if Uiagalelei is a guy that I've doubted too, goes out and throws for, I don't know, whatever, 3,500 yards this season? Oh, look, I was correct about that. It's a good point, Dakota. Who is begging? It's pegging, Kirby's. It's pegging, not begging. Oh, goodness. Dabo Sweeney doesn't have issues developing quarterbacks. They don't leave the program like they do at your school. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. We can talk about the NCAA rule changes. One of the ones we missed that I did not have there was the fake injuries. So this was really out there with the Ole Miss Tennessee game last year, where Ole Miss went in and won the game, but they were in some minds faking injuries. And maybe this is something that they're trying to work on. Schools that believe an opponent has faked an injury to secure an additional timeout may now submit a report regarding the incident to the National Coordination of Officials, who will then review it. The officials will then send a report to the conference regarding any further action. The new rule states any penalties will be up to the conference. So basically, what happens here is that if you have guys that are trying to get that extra timeout by just hitting the deck and throwing their legs up in the air, my legs are cramping. Yeah, if you have all of that happening, you can file a report and the NCAA can investigate it, and then it's up to the conference to determine what they're going to do. What is the conference going to do, by the way? How do you fix that? Seriously. How do you say, you know what? You were faking injuries. We know that you were. And, I mean, what are you going to do for the net? I mean, the game's over. It's one of those things that it's just hard to enforce. It really is. Now, when you have teams that run that gimmick offense where they're snapping the ball in 7 seconds or less from the play clock, and that's what that is, by the way. It is a gimmick offense. Let's just be honest. The offense for that, and Tennessee fans, if they're honest, they'll go along with this. The idea is to set up so quickly that you get the defense where at a point where they're completely out of position. You snap the ball, you get free plays, you get simple out plays where you can get 7 or 8 yards. That's what it is. It's a gimmick offense. There's nothing genius about it other than the ability to get your guys all together at one point and they're running at a super breakneck speed. It's not anything that's special. It's really not. It's completely a gimmick. It really is. It's like Ultimate Warrior style gimmick from the WWE in the 80s. Just run out and shake the ropes, and it's the same thing. But you have the right to run that offense. And when it comes down to it, if teams can't get their stuff together, and that gives you a competitive advantage, I don't really have a problem with it. But I don't know how we're going to fix it where guys can – how do you determine if someone's injured or not? I don't know. Maybe they can keep them out for a play. I don't know. Billy's upset and says it's not a gimmick. Stop it. It is a gimmick offense. Seriously. You're trying to get the defense into a position where they're not completely set up correctly. And you're using speed to do it. That is a gimmick offense. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works. If that's what you're good at, have at it. But it's a gimmick offense. Allen says the Tennessee offense is stopped by a flop. Total gimmick. But Billy says when Malzahn ran it at Auburn, he was a genius. Look, I think it takes a fair amount of coaching to get your team together and have them running at that breakneck of a speed, yeah, I think so. Okay. I still think it's a gimmick. Sorry about that. Rick says Tennessee is that kid smashing every PlayStation button as fast as they can. It's like playing the old Street Fighter game where you're hitting all the buttons and hoping something works. Oh, goodness. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Let's go out to the phones. And welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
This is Billy.
Hi, Billy.
Hey.
Well, am I supposed to be intimidated? I'm going to tell you right now, it's still a gimmick offense. I stand by what I said.
It's a gimmick.
I just told you.
Well, I know you will. You will back up, but tell me how it's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick offense. It's not like they're just setting up there and running plays. They're getting there and trying to snap the ball within 7 seconds is basically the gist of it. And they're trying to get
running plays.
They're running plays, but they're running them on a mismatched defense. They don't want the defense to have the ability to set up and have the middle linebacker read what's basically going on and set the coverage correctly. That's what it boils down to.
What's wrong with that?
It's a gimmick.
What's wrong with that?
It's a gimmick.
Oh, come on. Let me ask you a question.
It's like Terry Taylor being the Red Rooster in WWE. That's exactly what it is.
So when the NFL runs hurry up offense, that's a gimmick?
They're running that to conserve time. They're running to get guys out into the open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still a gimmick. It's a gimmick to move up and down the field. If not, then why wouldn't they run it all the time? With the NFL offense, why wouldn't they run it all the time? Tennessee,
they don't do it all the time.
Tennessee runs a breakneck pace, one of the fastest in the country. That's what Josh Heupel does.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
In the Georgia-Clemson game last year,
yep.
If Clemson could have ran 30 more plays, do you think there might have been a different outcome? Would they had a better chance scoring with 30 more plays?
No.
Oh, they wouldn't?
No.
So you're saying if the Clemson offense had 30 more plays, they wouldn't have had a chance.
The game is determined by how much you score. If you have 30 more plays, that doesn't mean you're going to do anything with them. If you have Uiagalelei who can't throw the ball, it's how much you score. That's fine.
Right.
I'd rather have a much more efficient offense that can line up and beat you that way than a gimmick offense. That's just me.
Come on, Rob.
I'm just being honest. You're telling me you wouldn't rather have what you had with Peyton Manning at Tennessee, where Peyton Manning walked up to the line, looked at the linebackers and said, okay, this guy's going here, that guy's going there, and he's working with whoever was the offensive coordinator in his ear, and he can pick out where he wants to go and throw the ball that way?
You don't think Hendon Hooker has a play when they run so you're just saying they're just snapping the ball early.
Hendon Hooker wasn't good enough to stay at Virginia Tech. I'm saying he's a heck of an athlete.
Let's go back to Peyton Manning. I've got you now.
Okay.
I've got you now. What did Peyton Manning win? What did he win?
He didn't win the Heisman Trophy. We know that.
What? No. What did he win at all at Tennessee?
He was a good player at Tennessee.
Why did he win, Rob?
Yeah, he was a good player. He was a good quarterback.
No. Tell me what he won.
I can't remember Tennessee's record. I don't remember.
Oh, yes, you can. You know exactly what he won.
I honestly don't remember. I mean, I don't think they won the national title. They won that with T. Martin. I know that. He didn't win the national title.
The next year after that efficient quarterback left, because everybody in Tennessee knew there was a quicker running quarterback on the sideline.
Oh, so as a Tennessee fan, you're not cool with what Peyton Manning did. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not a Peyton Manning fan.
Really? Okay.
No.
Sure.
I didn't name my kids Peyton. I didn't name my dog or cat Peyton. I'm not a Peyton Manning fan. Who won the national championship? You just said his name.
It's T. Martin.
Who won it?
T. Martin.
Okay. And what was T. Martin about?
I don't know. Winning a national
Peyton
championship.
looks like a tractor in first gear running. T. Martin ran. He was quick, got up and down the field. So, but
I mean, it's
anyway,
a style of a quarterback that you're talking about. I mean, if you like the more mobile quarterback instead of the typical drop back passer, that's on you. I'm just saying that the gimmick offense is going to be eventually found out. They'll figure that out.
Oh, we're stuck on a word. I'm telling you, I want to go back to if your Clemson offense ran 30 more plays last year against Georgia, they didn't have a chance of scoring. If you ran 30, they didn't have a chance.
The math says that you have 30 more plays, yeah, but as inefficient as that Clemson offense was, did you watch the game? It wasn't very efficient at all. You can run more plays and still lose.
They'd had a better chance.
Okay, well, under that logic, I mean, if we go back and look at the Tennessee Ole Miss game, you probably ran 40 more plays than Ole Miss did, and you still lost.
Yeah, well, there were some bad calls, but we won't go there. We won't go there. Let me ask you another pertinent question. I'm not being funny here.
Sure.
Since you're kind of sideways, halfway, quasi South Carolina fan.
Okay.
Do you think when Rattler is having a bad game, do you think he will bring him out of the game? I want an honest answer.
Are you talking about Shane Beamer?
Will Shane Beamer bring him if he's having a bad game? I'll tell you right now, he won't.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Define bad game.
He won't do it.
Define bad game. I mean, if he goes out there
and throws interceptions and they're getting their ass beat, and he's not performing. Spencer Rattler's not performing. Does Shane Beamer bring him out? Yes or no?
Easy.
There ain't no way in hell he brings that kid out.
I don't think he brings him out. I think you're right.
Hell no, he won't. Because what will happen?
But the reality is that he doesn't really have anybody behind him, and he doesn't want to shake the guy's confidence going into next week. Because I think Spencer Rattler's that kind of guy that he has to be built up every week. He's already talked about his fractured relationship with Lincoln Riley, and
I gotcha.
Yeah, and I think he has to be. He's one of those guys that has to be told he's the prettiest guy in school every day. You know what I'm saying? One of those kind of guys. I mean, I really believe.
So you're saying when South Carolina loses a game, and Spencer Rattler threw a couple interceptions and didn't perform well, I needed to leave. Beamer's going to say I had to leave him in there for confidence.
I think that unless there's a sustained length of time where Spencer Rattler just doesn't have it, I don't think he's coming out. I really don't.
No, he's not coming out. And we know why he's not coming out.
Sure.
They tiptoe around this kid like he's on ice.
On ice, yeah.
They go. Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to back to the rules.
Sure.
You know, this targeting is one thing, but you know the rule in football about face mask, you know, when they grab a face mask and it's blatant.
Yeah.
You know, in the next run.
Yeah.
What do they get for that as a penalty? A yardage penalty. If there's a rule that somebody needs to go sit on the sideline of a game, is when you blatantly grab somebody's face mask and wring their damn neck instead of a 10-yard or 5-yard penalty, whatever it is.
It's a good point, sir. We'll see.
All right, I'm gonna leave you then. I still think you're okay. I don't care what people say.
I appreciate that, man. You enjoy that gimmick offense this year, right? 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That's the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Quick break. We'll have more when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Hey, Zachary's back. At least he's not typing in all caps today. Welcome back to the show, Zachary. Appreciate that, brother. I mean, honestly, when it comes to the Tennessee offense or the Heupel offense or just the way that sets up, I don't know if it's going to be – people are eventually going to get tape. They're going to get tape on that. They're going to figure it out. Peg and Megan's upset today. He didn't win the raffle for the cast of Jimbo Fisher's nuts. He's not happy today. You need to be more respectful of Billy there, Zachary. Billy is like, isn't Billy like 73 years old? Billy's an old guy. He's one of those guys that he's like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. He's just sitting on his porch going, "Ner, ner." Oh, goodness. Bama bias? What are you talking about? There's no Bama bias. Bama's just good. I don't want to cross Billy. I don't want to cross Billy at all. He needs that gimmick offense, though. Got to keep it moving fast for him. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I've got a list of dummies. There are two people that are absolutely dumb. I'm thinking about having just a list of dummies shelf over there by the bookcase of accountability. There are two people that were absurdly dumb that came out in the world of sports today. We'll tell you about both of those in a little bit, but there are some spring transfer portal spots, what people need. And I thought we'd go over some of these really quickly here. And there are still some good players left in the transfer portal. There aren't any quarterbacks left, I don't believe. JT Daniels was the last quote unquote big get. He's decided to go burn couches in West Virginia. But there are still some spots that teams that need certain things. If you go look at the list of available players, though, and as far as in the transfer portal, if you're needing an offensive lineman, you better go on with that. That's not happening. According to this report, Texas A&M needs offensive linemen. All right. Clemson needs offensive linemen. Yeah, you're not getting any of that. Okay. There are some wide receivers. There are some defensive backs out there. And there are some tight ends. Wide receiver and tight end is the one spot they say that Alabama needs some help. We shall see on that. Bama Online's Hank South says Nick Saban and staff already added one impact pass catcher in Georgia's Jermaine Burton. But with the youth of the position and Alabama losing a lot of experience, getting another wouldn't hurt for Bryce Young. Man, this guy, Burton, he may go to Alabama. He may go down there and be like, wait a minute, I don't have to play defensive back. This is awesome. I could keep running down the field. I couldn't do that at Georgia. Oh, goodness. I'm looking forward to football season. I'm just writing stuff down that's going to just anger people across the board. Peg and Megan says, Rob, I hope you're building extra shelves on that bookcase of accountability just for your crap. I've got a trash can over here with your name on it. That's where everything that you're saying is going. I may put together a list of all the dumb things that Peg and Megan has said on this show and just play them back. I could make a whole show out of it. No way Georgia will win the national title. We got too many injuries. He actually said that. We can't win with Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett's our quarterback. We're not winning nothing. Yeah. As my watch goes off and I'm getting texts from people from things I'm saying here on the radio. Anyway, Notre Dame also needs a wide receiver. Irish Illustrated's Tom Loy says Notre Dame should take a look at the receivers in the portal after things shake out during the spring. A lot of talent at the position, but if a potential difference maker is available, it's worth making a run at him. Who would you like to see your team pick up? If I'm Michigan State, I want some defensive backs. Michigan State won, 11 games last year? Their offense was ranked their defense was like 110th in the country. They still won 11 games. What does that say about the Big Ten, by the way? If you can have a defense that's ranked like 110th, which I think is their pass defense, was ranked 110th in the country, but you can still win 10 games. What does that say about your conference? Imagine that. Anyway, the folks from the Big Ten don't want to hear that. Miami, they think Miami needs wide receivers, edge rushers, and linebackers. Tennessee needs wide receivers, running backs, offensive linemen, and defensive backs. According to GoVol's 247 expert Ryan Callahan, says Tennessee should be rather active in the portal post-spring. They're the crystal ball favorite for Southern Cal wide receiver transfer Brew McCoy. Never heard of him. And they'll likely be in the mix for several other positions of need. Limited by scholarship numbers going into the spring semester, Tennessee now has room to add several more players and has needs on both sides of the ball. Let me help you out, Tennessee. Start with the defensive backs. Just a word of advice. Purdue just scored again. Start there. Your defense is not very good. And with what you've got coming back, I don't know if they're going to be any better. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Chat room is on fire today. Big Barney Ross says, every Adele song is about lasagna. As a chunky guy, I like some lasagna. Why not? Harry Legg says, Bama fans eat crayons. Okay. Justin wants to know, what's the point spread for the Birmingham Stallions versus Houston Gamblers for this Saturday in the USFL? I may pick USFL games tomorrow. Why not? We may do that. By the way, when we come back, I've got two of the biggest dummies on the planet today. And we'll get into what they did and why there are idiots of the day. Yeah, we'll get into that in a moment. Quick break, though. When we come back, we'll have more for you. Here on The Rundown, 803-978-1832. More when we come back on Fox Sports Radio 1400. So Hollywood's on the line and he's upset. So stand by for that. I don't know what I said to him, but he's not happy. How far up is it? Neil, did you say that? That Georgia's the new dynasty? A long 41 years. Fair enough. Yeah, Georgia fans get to celebrate still. They won. That's so bad. What? Here's what I know about Alabama. The last time they played Clemson, they got their face kicked in. What was it, 44-16? Oh, they don't want to talk about that, though, do they? At least Georgia, the last time they played Clemson, they won. Alabama can't say that. Don't want to talk about that, do you? Oh, no. No one wants to hear that. Jay, did you block her? What's wrong with you? Jay's blocking people now? Get out of here. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Out to the phones we go. Welcome into the show.
Yeah, I was just saying, guys, some of the stuff you say, you just keep sticking your foot in your mouth.
Okay. What have I said today that has stuck my foot in my mouth? Tennessee's a gimmick offense? That bothers you?
Yep.
Okay.
And another thing about the Clemson-Georgia game.
Sure.
If they had the ball a bit more, they would have beat Georgia.
I don't think so. Not the way that offense was playing. That offense was terrible.
That game came down to one mistake. One mistake. That was it.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what game you watched.
I watched the game where the Clemson running backs couldn't do anything, and where Uyunglele couldn't make any throws and was throwing from his back foot all game.
Well, come on, the game was what, 10-3?
Something like that. Yeah.
It was 10-3.
Yep.
Come on, guys. I'm going to Florida next week, and I'm gonna get a break from this stuff.
Well, I'm sorry that you're going to get a break, but if you don't think the Tennessee offense is a gimmick offense, we will get you a Josh Heupel bedazzled tank top to wear down there.
I don't want that garbage.
Why not?
I don't want that garbage.
All right, man. Will you enjoy your trip, man?
Oh, no doubt.
All right.
Always do.
Have a great day.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, it's Big Barney Ross. I just wanted to call in and say that Kentucky, according to the news, is just one piece away from winning a national championship. And that's offense, defense, and special teams. But here's the thing, Rob. Kentucky will make a bowl game. And if making a bowl game bothers you, then you better get used to it because Kentucky ain't going nowhere. That's where Kentucky's going nowhere. And Toshibwe's coming back to the basketball program and to the Big Blue Nation out there. Kentucky basketball is back, baby. Woo! Big Barney Ross, I'm out.
Yeah, you guys enjoy the Music City Bowl. Oh, goodness. And congratulations with the whole NIL thing. You can have better bagmen for the football team. Now it doesn't matter. Anyway. All right, so we got our dum-dums for the day here. Here's the two dum-dums for today. The first is Von Miller, who just signed with the Buffalo Bills as a free agent in March. He is being sued by an ex-girlfriend who alleges he shared a sexually explicit photo of her. Miller's ex claims she and Miller photographed themselves engaging in sex acts sometimes in 2020. There was a mutual understanding between the then couple that the photos would not be shared, an agreement that Miller allegedly broke. Wait a minute. What is the deal with that? Let me make sure that I understand this. You snap some dirty pictures with somebody, and we just agreed, we're not going to share them with anybody. Did you have a contract? How's that working out there? Court documents contend that Miller sent the photos in a bit of anger and rage, in a fit of jealousy, sent the sexually explicit photos to two unnamed celebrities. So Von Miller decided, I took some pictures of me doing some stuff with this woman. She did some stuff that I don't approve of. So I'm just going to send naked pictures of her to two of my celebrity friends. This is Von Miller, by the way, who you would think can just move on. I don't know about all that. Von Miller is our dum-dum of the day. TMZ obtained a copy of the report, which claims Miller's first text reads, "This is the blank you want. You can have her, dog." 3 minutes later, he texted a different celebrity with the same message. This is the blank that you want. So basically, he took pictures of himself having sex with this woman and then sent them to someone else asking, is this the woman that you want? Oh, man. Along with the monetary damages, the claimant is seeking a court order to prevent Miller from distributing the photos elsewhere. Oh, my goodness. Tennille asks, why do we have to hear about what happens in people's bedrooms? I don't want to. I'm just making fun of Von Miller. We're going to talk about the bedrooms. But we do have our other story today, and it's on the blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com. I'm going to give you a word of advice. if you are drunk and you are on a plane and you somehow are seated behind Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson tells you on 3 different occasions to leave him alone, you should probably leave him alone. Just throwing that out there. There is video up on my blog page that I can't show you here because obviously we're on the radio, but the guy kept messing with Mike Tyson, the 55-year-old boxer, and apparently Mike Tyson had enough of his nonsense and got up and started beating the guy in the face. Beat him bloody. It's one of the, people used to pay, $100 to watch a Tyson fight? Yeah. Used to pay $100 to watch a Tyson fight. You get to watch this one for free. Just go to my blog page. By the way, Tyson wins. He won big time. But those are our 2 dummies of the day. Von Miller and the guy trying to argue with Mike Tyson. And by the way, there are reports from the plane that Mike told this guy, look, just leave me alone, calm down, calm down. If somebody tells you 3 times to calm down, you probably deserve to get punched in the face. Bible Belt says, did he not get arrested? I've not heard of an arrest. Dakota says, where's your blog? It's at foxsportsradio1400.com. You'll find it right there. Mike Tyson knocked a guy senseless. There's video there of him, of the guy standing there just looking like, man, I just got my face kicked in. Did not look good at all. Harry Lake says, justice served. Very good, sir. Very good. Brock wants to know if the guy lost an ear. That's a throwback, Brock. Yeah, I don't think that happened. But you do see Mike Tyson giving him the old 1-2. The old 1-2. I'm going to post the actual story here in the chat room for you folks so you guys can see it. There we go. That's what we'll do. That way you can just click on the link from there. But yeah, Mike Tyson doing his thing. Still not to be contended with there is Mike Tyson. You don't want any of that. So that guy's the dum-dum of the day. I don't know where else to go with that. Von Miller's dumb too. And people get upset. Rick says, I only wish Tyson would have put his tiger on the guy. Yeah. You imagine living with Mike Tyson and he's got that tiger. He's big on the pigeons too. Anyway, go find the blog and you can actually see Mike Tyson fighting. My gift to you today. You don't have to pay $100 for it like we used to when Mike Tyson fought. Now you can watch him beat a guy senseless on an airplane. Go to foxsportsradio1400.com. It's right there. All right. Tomorrow on the rundown, we're going to start working up towards the NFL draft. And we'll get into some more stuff here as we roll along. Tomorrow is Friday. Justin wants USFL picks tomorrow. I think they should call them Birmingham A, Birmingham B. Everybody's in Birmingham. So we shall see how that works out tomorrow. Whatever else I can come up with. As we roll along here, South Carolina, by the way, they're on the road tomorrow night at Auburn. They won last night big time over Gardner-Webb, like 12-2. Clemson's won 5 out of their last 6 in baseball. I don't know how well they're going to do in the postseason. We shall see. Anyway, appreciate you guys joining us today here. And, of course, don't forget Lawton Swan of Clemson Sports Talk is next. He's the czar of Clemson Sports. You can check him out at Clemson Sports. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. We shall see you tomorrow. Well, my blog is not. Anyway, appreciate y'all. I mean, would anybody be as petty as Von Miller? Here's a picture of this woman having sex with me. Got it. What a mess. Who is first? Tennessee pitchers are quick pitching, a gimmick. Billy, let it go. Y'all are going to win 8 games this year. Calm down. All right, y'all. See y'all later.